Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Two Nerds One Cast podcast. I'm Golden. That's my co-host Optical, and
Hello.
this show is going to be us talking about pretty much all things media, all things gaming, and just kind of having fun with it. So we have a few stories lined up here today that we want to discuss. Particularly Palworld controversy, Margot Robbie
Ooh,
potentially being snubbed, or at least it has been reported, for Best Actress. Some news on the Daredevil show, Deadpool 3 and Mortal Kombat 2, filming news, upcoming State of Play lineup, and stuff about TRON 3, and a little bit about the Until Dawn film adaptation that is coming. So,
yeah.
without
Quite
further
a lot to
ado,
talk about.
we have a lot to talk about. That's like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things for the first episode. Wow. So yeah, we're just going to go with it, and hopefully you guys enjoy. So, first off, do we want to introduce ourselves?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm Golden. Me and Optical work together on acrylic. And me and him were like, hey, we gotta make this podcast, dude. We both love gaming. We both love just movies and shows in general and all that. So we were like, we should make just a
We should make-
podcast all about media. So so here we are. I've done YouTube for a long time. And I also own an esports org. So that's kind of just a synopsis about me. What about you, Optical?
So, hi everyone. I'm Optical. I am part of Golden's organization. I'm a content creator for him, and like he said, we playing games a lot, and then he brought the idea of doing a podcast. I mean, and I just was like, yeah, absolutely. I absolutely love video games and probably drinking excessive amounts of coffee behind the scenes.
Oh, I thought that
So,
was going somewhere else. I was like, Jesus Christ. I
no,
like
no,
drinking
no.
excessive amounts.
Oh, I mean, hey, look, in the words of Johnny Depp, isn't happy hour anytime?
Oh, man. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I drink a lot of coffee. That's all.
Yeah, fair enough. Uh, so, yeah, that's kind of a little bit about us. And yeah, so let's just jump right into it. So,
Absolutely.
Optical, have you heard about like everything going on with Palworld?
Oh my God, there's so much. I literally I just remember seeing this one thing about Powell coming out, and then like 2 months down the line, it's like just so much happens.
Yeah, dude. I remember when it was originally announced. And people were like, holy shit, dude, Pokemon with guns. And now it's like, oh man, was AI used? And it's like, oh my god, wait, so on the rundown, we have reference tweets or like articles that we like to pull up so we can, refresh. One of the tweets does not exist anymore. They took it down. I don't even remember which one it was. Oh my god.
I just remember the devs were getting like absolutely like there was so
Trashed
much going
on.
on.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah,
lot.
like they were getting cooked. They were getting like cooked online for this.
Yeah, it was.
And then the Pokemon company literally responded like this week.
Oh yeah,
Like,
and they were
actually
like,
made a
we'll look
statement.
into it. Yeah.
It's like, oh God, here we go.
It is, dude. So, for those of you who aren't aware of Palworld, the idea is Pokemon with guns. Except
Yeah.
they might have taken that idea too far on the Pokemon side, where a lot of the designs actually look like Pokemon. Which isn't good at all. That is potentially intellectual property theft. But that's not where the big problem comes from. At least not on Twitter. A lot of it comes from the thought that AI was used in it, which is interesting. And I want to get your thoughts on this because I don't think that's true. Obviously, we have other like things to go off of here, but like I personally don't believe that. And I'll get into why in a little bit, but I don't believe that. So right off rip, what do you think about that?
So, I don't think it's AI, right? I don't think it's AI. Like, I know that a while ago there was, I believe it was the owner of the team that created Palworld. Obviously, he talked a lot about AI in the past that he did use for one of his projects, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, that was like a game where you would guess, I think, which art was AI or something. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I will say that some of the designs are like strikingly similar to those of like Gudra and Charizard and Squirtle. Like you look at them and it's it's like the online internet joke of like, oh, sure, copy my homework, but just try to make it look original.
Yeah, just try to make it look a little bit different. Yeah,
Yeah,
so they don't get
that's what
suspicious.
yeah. But like, I don't think it's AI, but I do think that there was quite. I'm using inspiration lightly, to be honest.
There was a lot of plagiarism.
Yeah, I can't even lie. Some of them are like, oh god.
Yeah. I'm kind of in that same boat where I don't think it was AI, but I do think that it was definitely um the creator looking at it, looking at Pokemon, being
Yeah.
like, man, I kind of want to make a new idea, but he just couldn't come up with different designs. So
Oh
like,
god.
even on unique ideas, like I understand, like a penguin's gonna look like a penguin, like that shit's just gonna happen. Like a duck's gonna look like a duck. That's just how it's gonna be. But with like the more
Yeah.
unique things, like you said, um, having those be really similar feels a little bit too much um like it's not an accident, you know?
Yeah.
Um
Absolutely.
but yeah, so reason I bring this up on Twitter, it for this was like the first discussion I heard about it. Someone tweeted out, actually the user Acerola_T tweeted out, Palworld's overwhelming success is the first step in the normalization of generative AI slop games, which is really, really depressing. 10 years ago, an asset flip like this, a flip game like this would have been relentlessly ridiculed. I'm not necessarily sure about that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that's like a very strong statement to make, and a lot of people are like, I think it's a pretty big debate on whether or not that was the case. Obviously by now it's kind of past. I think a lot of people have acknowledged the odds of it being AI are low, but the odds of it being plagiarism are high.
Yeah.
Um, but like, there's an important note. This game was announced about 3 years ago, featuring a lot of the designs, and AI art was not good 3 years ago. I don't know if you remember like the fucking Dolly mini generator, but it was ass.
Yeah, no, it was rough. It was really rough.
You would fucking like type in like Mario caught on a trail cam, and that was like it was like the shittiest. Like Mario looked like kind of like a painting, and it was like, this is funny. Now it's like AI art's terrifying, but like it wasn't that good back then. So at worst, in my opinion, it's a plagiarism, and
Yeah.
a lot of people had some takes on this shit. Um, so first off, regarding the potential plagiarism, there was like a modeling thing where, what's it called? Like a person took one of the Pokemon models and then took a Palworld model, and they did this for like 3 models, and they basically put them together to like kind of show the design overlap and all that shit. And a lot of the Palworld designs looked like Pokemon, like just had the exact same like scale and all that shit as the Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like I know on some they had to resize the model to like fit, but like you could see that the way it was modeled was about the same, just that it was scaled differently to upscale to the size so you could see it more clearly. Which doesn't necessarily like disprove that that was used as a reference, which some people were trying to claim it does, but it doesn't. I
Yeah.
don't know. Just a lot of wild shit.
It's insane. Like AIR as well. Like in general, is like it's going crazy. Like I don't know if you've seen, because while we was on the topic of AIR, have you seen that whole thing with like the Taylor Swift situation?
Yeah.
Like it's
Terrible. Oh my god.
It's terrible. And it's like, I just saw that. I was like, how is this so unregulated?
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be like one of the least regulated things. And I just something that really annoyed me. And this is just like a very quick run. So obviously, the whole thing with SAG-AFTRA. Like, obviously they had their strikes a few months ago, didn't they?
Yeah.
And a couple of months ago, they announced that they'd done this deal where basically developers can use AI.
I remember this. I was complaining about it.
And I just found this, and then they done a statement recently about Taylor Swift's situation, saying like, "Oh, this use for AI is terrifying." And I just thought that is so pot calling the kettle black.
Yeah.
Because you can't say this AI thing's terrifying, and yet you grant a deal a couple months ago, which basically steals the jobs of thousands of voice actors. Like it's insane.
It's nuts. Yeah, I mean, when I saw that SAG-AFTRA thing, I was like, so what the fuck was the point of the strike?
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. Like, why would you like? I understand that originally the thing with the strike was to give writers a fair pay. I'm all for that, because without like the thing with what a lot of major studio executives don't realize is that if there's no writers, there's no actors, and if there's no actors, there's no directors.
Yeah,
and if there's no directors,
the
there's
whole
no
movie
projects
thing doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. So a lot of times, a lot of studios wouldn't really be anything with writers or actors. That might be a bit of a hot take, but that's how I see it. So when they done that, I was all for that strike. But then they 2 times down the line are like, oh yeah, we're also allowing AI to steal the jobs of voice actors. I was like, what?
Why? What the fuck? Yeah.
It's so insane.
Yeah, definitely not good. But yeah, on the topic of that, obviously springboarding off that,
yeah,
as Mingold gave quite the fucking take on on AI art and it being used in games. I wish I could have the exact quote. I have the video here. But essentially what he says is the artist's opinion doesn't fucking matter. Because to the general consumer, if they like the game, they'll play it. They don't care who the artist is behind it. Which isn't necessarily wrong, but the way he phrased it is fucking terrible. Is like no one gives a shit about your opinion. Like, who cares if you're gonna be out of work, basically?
He got absolutely cooked for that.
He got absolutely flamed. And like on an economics level, he's not wrong. Like the consumer does only care about like the product they're buying. They don't care about like most consumers don't necessarily care about like the ethics behind it.
Yeah,
as you can see with like any brand ever. But the way that was phrased, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
And then he went on to defend it.
Yeah, didn't he do like a video saying I got cancelled or something?
Yeah, it was like a 2-hour video on a fucking 1.5-minute statement. Like, oh my god, but yeah.
I was expecting him to pull out the ukulele, Just go
toxic gossip train.
I didn't expect him to do that. I was like, oh god. And
my god.
Like what he could have turned around and said, like, look, it is bad that like if they used AI, he could have turned around and said, like, it is bad that they used AI. However, to a lot of people, it's not necessarily that their first thing, but it's still wrong that they've done it. Then I think people would have been fine with it. They would have been fine with saying it's bad that AI
is being used.
AI is being used.
But to the general consumer, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, which on paper is true. Like, but like you said, he just delivered it so abysmally poor.
He was so blunt about it.
Yeah, it was so to the point. I was like, oh god.
And then he defended it, which, again, not necessarily wrong with how he defended it. He goes, am I wrong about this? Looking at so many people angry with what I said is kind of shocking to me. Which I don't know how the fuck that's shocking to you, but okay. When you go to a market with the product, the only thing that matters is the consumer's perception of that product's value. When did this become wrong? And again, on an economics level, which is what he's arguing, he's not wrong. But a
morality level, like
artist opinion don't matter. What matters is the opinion of the people buying the product. Is basically the synopsis. And oh my god. Just an insane fucking statement. If he wasn't such a popular person, that'd be like a career self-death.
It would be a career ender.
Self-death.
Yeah, it would be like,
because we can't say the S word, but self-death.
Yeah, it's a career killer, 100%.
Yeah.
If I said that, I would be burnt into the ground.
Yeah, let's try not to give any of those takes on here.
Yeah, definitely not.
But yeah, I mean, holy shit. That was wild. So, man, fucking AI use is terrifying though. I am worried that someday AI is going to take over like my job in terms of content. That is not going to be fun.
God.
But oh well, what the fuck am I going to do about it?
I will say the one funny thing to come out of AI is like, and like I will say it, like, have you seen the AI sings? And someone done like a song, but they done it with a Minecraft door sound, and it was the funniest thing I've listened
No,
to for
I
like
thought
2
that you
minutes.
were going to be talking about like the SpongeBob one.
Oh, that's peak as well.
Like
Like
the fucking SpongeBob drill one. Hold on. Let me find it.
you
SpongeBob AI
remember
rap.
this? I remember this,
It
and they
was
done it with
like
Plankton as well.
Gary hit him with a meow meow meow. Hold on. I have the exact soundbite. I might not have the exact
Like,
soundbite, but I got that shit.
but that's the bit like that. That's the one good thing that I can say with AI is that like you can get some immaculate humor with it.
Oh yeah, for
Like you
sure.
can get some great jokes, but I think to use it as a way that like really puts people's jobs at risk, I don't agree with.
Yeah, I
You
agree.
know,
It's bad. I think there does have to be regulations on it. The thing is,
oh,
I don't know
absolutely.
how you do that.
I
Like, I don't
mean,
know how you
like,
can regulate AI use to certain degrees. I guess you could be like, hey, you can't use real people in these prompts.
and not, like not even that, but like I obviously the like the Taylor Swift situation is an like excellent example of when regulations needed because like
Yeah.
that, someone could look at that and think it's real, and then that's it. They're gonna get all these comments, and it's just like I remember. I don't know if you saw it, but there was an interview. I hope I hope I pronounced it right, but her name right, but like Zolti Gomez or something. I believe her
Oh,
name
so
is, and she
Cheetle or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, with like America, like who was America Ferrera in Doctor Strange too,
Yeah.
and she actually had a situation where people were making very explicit AI deepfakes of her,
Oh God.
and really, really like
That's
explicit.
terrible. Holy fucking
It is
shit.
awful. It's awful, right? And they couldn't do anything about it. Like by law, you couldn't do anything about it. Like you could take a couple down,
But
but
you can't like stop it. Yeah.
because like AI doesn't really fall under the use of like things like revenge explicit videos and
Yeah.
things like that. And that's what's insane to me is that you're using this to make rude videos, and like it's and the fact that like the law doesn't cover that is what's like crazy to me.
Yeah. I know. What's it called? I know Taylor Swift is suing the guy.
Which
Or
sets
like
a
her
really good
legal team.
precedent.
Yeah, which is gonna set a hell of a precedent. And most likely will start regulations. So that's good.
Yeah,
Sucks that it had to come to this though, for that to have that like even
yeah.
start.
Mm.
But hopefully she sues that guy into oblivion, and then regulation is made because that is fucking terrible. I actually didn't know about that. That is disgusting.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. So wow. Okay. Uh, let's
insane.
let's try. I'm gonna try moving along.
Yeah,
Into the
okay.
next topic, which was a lot of people are very split on like Margot Robbie and her nomination or lack thereof, I should say, for Best Actress. Um, and there was a few fucking funny ass statements that came out of this. This tweet might be the dumbest one I've ever seen. Have you seen this? Like before
I
this
believe
episode? Because
I believe I was reading into this.
it's the dumbest fucking tweet I've ever seen. I'm gonna put it up on screen. But
Yeah.
is she the person that tweets this, Brie, uses the quote from a Taylor Swift song, The Man, which is, I'm so sick of running as fast as I can, wondering if I'd get there quicker if I was a man. It was the Best Actress award. it was the Best Actress award. It's only for women. There, you wouldn't get there faster as a man. You wouldn't be nominated. You wouldn't have a chance. Um, like, dude, at worst, she just got snubbed from being the nominee. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't watched too many movies. I've meant to watch Barbie. I haven't yet. That's on me. This year I've kind of slowed it down, or I guess last year I kind of slowed down a lot.
Yeah.
But like, from my understanding, the biggest performance in that movie by far was Ken, and Ryan Gosling as Ken.
He was so good
Um,
in the film. I'm not ashamed to admit I watched it and I thought it was really good.
Hell yeah. I haven't been able to get around to it. I think they're still doing showings at one of my theaters in Vegas. So I'll probably have to go tap in eventually. But god damn it, Mason, why the fuck are you signing in so many times? Um but yeah, so I have to go check it out. But yeah, from my understanding, it's not like she performed it like poorly or at all or anything. She still
No,
performed
she was
great,
great.
but like
She
she
was
didn't
amazing.
perform at the level of these other actresses. Is generally the understanding I've gotten to, which makes it so funny how like Hillary Clinton came out and talked about it and was like,
That
"Hold
was
your head up
wild.
high, ladies." To her
That,
and the director Greta Gerwig,
that was insane when that
that
happened.
was fucking hilarious. um, because I think everyone clowned on it because Hillary's not really that big in American politics. Like she was almost president, but I don't think a lot of people like her. And then the LA Times. Oh my god, do you want to read this quote? It's in the fucking rundown.
Absolutely.
This is the
Absolutely.
craziest statement I've ever read from which it basically ties back into all the movies of the that were nominated, but still nuts. So go for it.
Okay, here we go. So it starts off by and this is by the columnist of the name Mary McNamara. I hope I've spelled that right. Or said that right, not spelled it. So the title is "Shocking Oscar Snubs for Barbie's Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie Just Prove the Movie's Point." And and this is the quote: "If only Barbie had done a little time as an adult worker." Or an adult entertainment
Yeah,
worker. So I have to be careful because
you can switch it in, but yeah, that's what that roughly. Yeah,
yeah. Or barely survived becoming the next victim in a mass execution plot, or stood accused of shoving Ken out of the dream house's top window. Certainly, millions of Barbie fans are currently wishing they could push someone, perhaps a member or two, out of the film academy, out of a very high window. That is unhinged.
it is an insane statement.
That's unhinged.
Yeah, that is fucking wild. And like the first half of that quote is like, okay, they're tying it back in to the movies that got nominated of like Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon, and I want to say it was like Anatomy of a Fall, right?
Yeah.
The rest of that quote, with the certainly millions of Barbie fans wish they could push a member or two of the Academy out of a very high window, is insane.
That's like, I mean, how do you sit there as a columnist and just generally just type that out and think this great title, send? It's
Send.
like, that's just.
I'll tell you what, it was a strong
No
opening.
words. Oh yeah, definitely one of the strongest opening of all time.
No, that thing getting fucking swing and meat. Holy shit! Just fucking burn.
Just was like, oh yeah, they didn't get Barbie. All right, push them out window.
Push
That's
them
like,
out a window. I'm sure you wanna. Whoa.
it's like that's like the same level of like, I don't know if you guys saw. Do you know the YouTuber Tom Scar? He does like the ASDF movie.
Oh yeah.
Stuff. So he has like this song, and the lyrics are like, "Shoot all your problems away."
Oh yeah. Oh my god, I can't remember that.
It's
So,
just like,
yeah.
this is like the same level of this.
Honestly, in America, that's generally the belief. But yeah, dude,
Okay.
like that shit was nuts. With Margot, like I personally don't think Margot Robbie was snubbed.
No.
This was a very strong year for female leads in movies.
Like Margot was amazing. I'm not gonna doubt it. Like she was great in the film.
She was great. It just so
But I
happens
wasn't like moved.
that 2023 was a very strong year for female actresses.
Yeah, absolutely.
So even great performances weren't nominated. And that's just how it is. You can only nominate so many, which is 5 people, obviously. So
could you imagine having like an Oscars like 15 nominations each?
Oh my
like
god, I'd fucking hate it. just the readout of being like, and the nominees are, and it's just 15 people. Oh my god. Oh,
for every
Jesus.
like section
Would be way too much. Oh my god.
basically just nominating like the entire film industry, basically.
Literally every Hollywood major actor. Oppenheimer, the entire cast.
That was a great film, actually. To be honest.
Yeah, it was. That was pretty good. And then yeah, I mean, dude, like, that tweet is still the funniest part of this to me because it's like, bro, what are you on? But yeah, so that was funny. I'm not even gonna lie, that's just funny to me. More than anything. But then Well, this was we had this Daredevil show news a few weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. Well, we
Oh,
got some
I'm so excited
recently.
about this.
We got some
I'm so
recently,
excited.
but I think a good chunk of this was announced a few weeks ago. So you are our resident Marvel guy, so
Yeah.
you can talk about this, man.
Yeah, I mean, oh god, that's always like something you don't want to like. I don't want to flex out. Oh yeah, I'm a resident Marvel guy. You know, you know? Like imagine saying that we meet someone for the first time. Oh, what do you do? Oh, I live and breathe Marvel. Like, oh,
Yeah. Oh
okay.
man, that's my favorite. Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's like what's it called? The fucking Mormons with how they preach the gospel, but it's just you walking to people's doors and being like, "You want to read a Marvel comic book?"
Yeah, it's like you just knock on the door and go like, "You want to read about our savior Stan Lee?" It's like,
It's like, bro, they just close the door. Fuck, man.
but I have his first like book.
First
It's
edition,
like,
they're PSA 10s. They're PSA 10 as they're closing the door.
oh my god.
They just open the door, you're there. They're like, sorry, I'm a DC fan. Just closes the door.
Ooh. That's that's like Satanism to Marvel fans.
Oh my god.
It's like, all right. Not saying DC fans are Satanists, just to say that's not the case. I'm saying there are some vocal Marvel people.
Snyder fans.
Oh, Snyder. Oh yeah, it's like, oh, if you like Marvel, it's like, oh, you've done this wrong, you've done that wrong, you've done this wrong. Like if a Snyder fan sees you enjoying Marvel, they are pulling out every single tweet you've ever made in your life.
This is the bad
It's- yeah. So, Daredevil show news. This was exciting to me. Like as soon as I saw this, because the original plan, I'm sorry, but it freaking sucked. It freaking sucked. The original plot. And did you
Yeah.
know what the original plot was gonna? Do you know what was gonna happen? What they were gonna do?
Not really, man. I'm gonna be honest.
So it was gonna
MCU
be.
I've fallen out of completely lately.
I don't blame you. I mean, it has gone a bit weird in some angles, but they were gonna kill off Karen and Foggy off screen, right? So they
Oh,
were
I
gonna
remember
kill them
this.
two off.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were gonna do that, and like it was gonna just be from that. And I'm like, so Harmony, you do this much character development, like that was on the same levels of killing Joe in Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
Like you just introduce him, and then you're like, out you go, mate. Like,
Yeah.
that was insane to me.
That's a bad choice.
Yeah, it was a terrible choice because people love that character. You know, people generally love, and like considering now, which again, I'm glad that they've done this, that they've made like all the Netflix shows canon into the MCU ever
Yeah.
since they moved to Disney, which I think was a super smart move.
Yeah.
Because if you were gonna like bring in Daredevil, Punisher, and all these people, and you completely wipe out the original story, it would be weird for Marvel fans to be like, okay, so do I have to watch this? Do I have to watch
This is
that?
a different
So
guy.
that was-
What do I have to watch? All
yeah,
that shit. Yeah.
yeah, it was a super smart move on Disney's end.
Especially since everyone would be reprising their roles and be like really
Yeah.
confusing.
and but basically, in a nutshell, it's going to be Daredevil season 4, but they're just calling it Born Again. It's going to be Daredevil season 4.
Yeah, because
So-
I don't think they can use the original series name because I think that's owned by Netflix, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, they can, but basically, long story short, it means that they don't have to. It cuts a lot of costs if you do a soft reboot, basically.
Oh,
Because
okay.
if you're doing it straight off of Daredevil season 3, then you have to pay for obviously like all like the scripts, the rights, and things like that, right? So like
Oh.
at the first point, you know, Disney was like, I guess from what I can understand is that they wanted to reboot it so that they didn't have to worry about, you know, bringing the scripts over from Netflix into Disney and then like obviously bringing everyone back. They just do a soft reboot, and I think that's why they also killed off Foggy and Karen, so they could kind of lead towards the reboot.
Yeah.
Which, you know, on paper, like, okay, but why? You know. So anyway, they're bringing back, and I believe this is how you pronounce his name, is Wilson Bethel, and he was as Bullseye, which again, he was freaking terrifying as in that show.
Oh yeah.
Like he was, I would argue he was slightly more threatening than Kingpin.
Damn.
Because like, and I say it's because like Kingpin, like, don't get me wrong, he is terrifying as a character, you know, for someone that is not Thanos, like he's sheer
He's
strength
the biggest
and like
street level.
control.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the biggest street level villain, right? And I will always say that they massacred him in Hawkeye. Like
Yeah.
like he was such like he just felt not like comedic relief, but he kind of just felt like the, oh, you remember this guy? Yeah, he's he's back again, but
Yeah, I
just
heard that got
that was it.
fixed a little bit in the Echo show.
Oh, Echo made him absolutely terrifying again.
Okay.
They finally like kind of brought him back, which again I always say smart move to make Echo R-rated.
Yeah.
And is it Alakwa Cox? I believe that's how you say her name. She was brilliant. Oh my god, she was incredible in that series.
Oh yeah.
Like the amount of representation that they done, and like the way that they handled Echo was just, and the way that she handled Echo as well was just it was amazing.
She nailed it.
They nailed it. But anyway, with Daredevil, basically, they brought back. So they got the showrunner of the Punisher series to come into this, which again, fantastic move. And then they've got Deborah Ann Wool back as Karen Page and Eldon Hansen back for Foggy Nelson.
Yeah, which
and,
means the whole crew's back. They're not getting killed off.
The whole crew's back. Well, but the thing is, there's rumors going around, right, and it's not confirmed, but they're only going to be in it for 3 episodes.
And then they get killed off.
Why do I feel like they're going to do that? As much as I don't want them to, I feel like they're just going to be like, it'll be like some Batman scene where they walk down the hallway, it's like bang, bang. Oh, it's like, it's going to be, it's like
Daredevil realizes he can't save everyone.
Could you just imagine that's what they do in the freaking, like, if they did the reboot Ridley, they just kill him off and he just becomes Daredevil.
Oh my god, it'd be so upsetting.
It'd be terrible. Completely undermine his character. But they've also brought in a new character as well. They also, from the behind the set scenes, they brought in White Tiger, I believe it's White Tiger, it's so cool. Like, White Tiger's a vigilante, but he's so damn cool.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so like they're just basically, long story short, is they're just making season 4. It's like that, and I don't think it's going to be 18 episodes now. I think they're cutting it down to around like 13, which I thought in hindsight 18 episodes seemed a little bit excessive. I mean, in hindsight that would be quite worrying, because then that kind of makes it feel like it's going to take you 18 episodes to flesh out a
it's going to be dragged out. Yeah.
So I think bring it down to like 13 or 9 is reasonable.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry. Don't mean to cut you off.
No, that was it. I was saying it's reasonable.
If I'm not mistaken, I think they're cutting it down to like the whatever the Netflix episode count normally is. I think they're bringing it down to that, from my understanding. So I don't know if that was 9 or 13, but apparently that's what they're bringing it down to, further solidifying that to basically just season 4.
Even they better bring back the main theme.
Yeah, even with episode structure and all that. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to that show. I will watch that. For sure.
Yeah.
I have to get back I have to watch Echo. The most recent thing I watched from Marvel is, I think, Guardians 3.
Oh, that's such a good film.
Which is such a good movie. It's so good. But
it's S tier for me.
Oh, easily. It's a great movie in general. Like, whether it's Marvel or not, it's amazing. So, yeah, I have to watch that. Well, I have to watch Echo. I want to watch Loki season 2 because I haven't been able to get to that. I heard really good things about that.
Oh,
I love season 1. Season 1 was my favorite Marvel show, easily.
Yeah, I always describe Loki as like Marvel's Doctor Who, because it's literally like in a nutshell, it's kind of what it was. It's this man who can go through like points in time, and he brings people with him, and it goes like you get like a few like plot twists and things like that. But it was just so amazingly directed.
Yeah, it just seems like a really good movie. If you go anywhere but if you go anywhere but Twitter, you'll only hear good things about it, which is why I don't trust Twitter film discourse.
They never have a good opinion,
dude.
I'm gonna be honest.
God, it's so bad every time. But yeah, speaking of, not necessarily speaking of, but moving into our next point, this is connected to Marvel, and loosely at least. Deadpool 3 wrapped filming recently, and then also Mortal Kombat 2. So these are really quick things that we're just going to talk about. Probably we can elaborate. Actually, we can give our thoughts on what we're looking forward to. But yeah, so Deadpool 3 was announced. Ryan Reynolds announced that filming has wrapped for it, and its release is expected and slated for July 26, 2024, which is 5 days before my birthday. So I'm probably going to watch it on my birthday.
Happy birthday for me.
Thank you.
What an amazing birthday gift to have, like a belated birthday gift.
Yeah, right? And then Mortal Kombat 2 finished. It's filming this week as well. It's expected to be released late 2024, early 2025 with Simon McQuaid, McChode,
It's something like that. Like,
returning to direct.
Maybe.
I don't know. It looks mild, maybe French, so it could very well be McChode. But yeah, Deadpool 3. I'm really interested in, actually.
It's one of my most, considering it's the only Marvel movie this year.
Is it actually?
It's the only Marvel movie coming out this year.
Holy shit. Okay.
So there's like so much there's a big, like, you know, not reputation, but like there's big anticipation on this, because if this is the only movie to come out, if it sucks,
it's gonna be a bummer.
Like, it's like no. So the only two Marvel movies, obviously, one's the Sony Spider-Man universe, which is Madam Web, which just basically looks like
so bad.
It just looks like Final Destination, but Spider-Man.
So fucking
It just
bad,
like, if you've ever seen the Final Destination movies, you know, it's a thing of, oh, I have visions, things happen, things go wrong, done.
Yeah, people die.
Like,
yeah.
But like, they've just announced that, like, well, not announced, but it's been found out that they've just removed every single reference of Spider-Man now. They did the same thing with Morbius.
Oh yeah, isn't that because they were gonna have originally, like, they wanted Andrew Garfield to come back?
They wanted Andrew,
and then they were like, actually, let's do Tom Holland.
Andrew Garfield wouldn't have made sense.
And then they went neither.
Like, neither of them would have made sense plot-wise, considering the year that thing was set.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. Why not just cast a new Spider-Man, man? Like,
yeah, like, that's what I was saying. Like, they should have just, like,
I get they have like the budget of a CW show probably on that movie, but like, come on, man.
Yeah, but like, even CW would have costed a Spider-Man.
Yeah, I know.
So they could have, right? So here's a fun fact. Before Andrew Garfield became Spider-Man in the Amazing Spider-Man duology, right? It was actually going to Josh Hutcherson tested for the role.
Oh yeah,
so he actually had a screen test. So why didn't they just bring Josh Hutcherson?
Yeah, they could have used them. Yeah, I mean, if he would have been down to return, I don't see why you wouldn't.
Obviously, I know he done FNAF, but you know.
My goat.
By the way, he was so great in that.
My goat. Josh Hutcherson. He chased down a dad and beat the shit out of him in a pool in that movie.
I wonder if that's what, like, the writer of that Barbie headline was feeling at that point, just chasing down someone at the mall going.
Oh, it's funny as fuck. But yeah, so I've seen some things on the Deadpool, like from Deadpool 3, because god damn it, you can't record on location without someone leaking it. And it looked like there was like one thing. So obviously the Deadpool suit's like iconic. And like in the movies it's been very comic accurate and all that shit. And then I remember seeing a photo of one that was like kind of really over designed, like kind of like the meme of like generic superhero suits, like comic superhero suits, and then like MCU-ified superhero suits. And like the Deadpool costume, not the normal one, but the other one looked MCU-ified, which is people hypothesized that like the Deadpool from the Deadpool movies is gonna come into the MCU, and that Deadpool is gonna be there, and he's gonna kill him and take his place, which I would love.
I would find that to be funny as hell, honestly.
I would love if that was the case, because that would be very funny, and just be like, yeah, that's on brand, and that's Deadpool.
And it's literally on brand like that. And I mean, mind you, like, it's, you know, I don't think it'd be ruled out, because if you've seen the photo recently, Ryan Reynolds had long hair in the Deadpool costume.
It was the over-designed one with long hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like in the movies, he's like bald.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know, maybe he plays himself or something as a joke and then just goes like bang.
Yeah, just kills him.
Because he done it with like the Green Lantern joke.
Yep.
Which I thought was like, my jaw dropped when they done that. I thought there's no way they just done that.
Yeah, it's fucking. I love the Deadpool movies. They're
even
great.
Like the director gave the thumbs up to the joke of like who done Green Lantern. He said like, you know what, fair play.
That's awesome.
Which that's nice though. You know, he's like that. He's not getting
like upset over it or anything.
Yeah, like, cause it's all in good fun. You know, Ryan Reynolds is, from what I can see, he's not one to ever make jokes at
other people's expense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
he seems like a very nice guy.
Unlike Joe Coy at the Critics' Choice Awards this year.
Oh yeah, I remember that shit where he was like, "Look, guys, my writers wrote these jokes."
And I'm like, Your rights are the reason you're there.
Yeah, like bro, come on, nice job. Like, dude,
give us some slack.
the uncomfortableness of that room when
Yeah,
like he started
no one
complaining
smiled.
and all that shit. Like, everyone was visibly upset.
Yeah.
Like,
Even when he done the Barbie joke. When he done the Barbie joke, do you remember?
yes, everyone was visibly like, God, this guy's so bad.
Yeah, that was like hiring a comedian from Craigslist.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was bad. Again, no offense, but that's just it was awful.
It was very bad. And then what's it called? And then Mortal Kombat 3. Or 2, my bad. 2. I'm not as excited about that. I thought that the one movie worked really well. I thought it was a really like Mortal Kombat. You can't really like. There's not that big of a story to adapt. But like with what story they do have in the games, they adapted it pretty well. I thought I liked the introduction of the Scorpion character, or like the Scorpion's kid. You know, that guy.
Honestly, people hate that, but I think Lewis Tan killed it.
He killed it.
When he done that.
I was gonna say I think it was a little bit dumb that they were like, yeah, this is a kid of like a descendant of scorpions, and then it's like, oh, Sub-Zero's hunting him. Oh, okay, yeah, this all makes logical sense, of course, but
yeah, like on paper it was weird, but then when you actually saw it executed, it was like this actually
decent.
like
yeah,
it was decent. And I think it was smart to establish the first film as setting up the tournament, not to go directly into tournament, because if you're going that directly into tournament in the first movie, you're like, oh, like where can we go now?
Yeah, you can't go anywhere. Yeah, like
considering that Mortal Kombat is a game that's had 3 reboots in the span of a decade.
Yeah,
it's like
Oh, I fucking love that series, dude. They're so absurd with what they do, but man.
But it's so cool though as well.
Such a cool thing.
It's like how they got Omni-Man, like Homelander. Well, obviously Homelander's not got NC Star.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh my god, I fucking hate that.
Yeah, I didn't get that. So I guess that they're just gonna go for like someone who's like a nearly perfect imitator, maybe. I guess
probably they were just like, well, we're gonna cheap out on it. We've spent so much money getting
Megan Fox
and Jonah Jameson. Yeah, the guy who voices played. I can't remember his name.
J.K. Simmons.
That's it, J.K. Simmons. Yeah. I can only ever remember him as that role. Because that's just how like I grew up watching those movies. So to me, that is.
I also remember him as Cave Johnson in Portal 2.
Oh well, I forgot that. You're right. But yeah, so I'm excited for Mortal Kombat 2. I think it's gonna be a decent movie. The first one was pretty solid. I think I used to do movie reviews, and I think I gave it like a 7 out of 10 in my video, which I think is pretty accurate. It could have probably been a little bit lower, like 6.5. Realistically, I'd have to rewatch it, but I remember it being like a fun movie.
Yeah, it's just a fun casual watch.
Yeah, it wasn't taking itself too seriously. I like also the fucking Scorpion Sub-Zero fight when he like hits him with that "get over here." I loved.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good fight. The fight scenes were generally really good. Honestly, that's kind of what made it really good. The plot was decent, but like you don't watch that movie for the plot, in my opinion. You watch it for the fights. Kind of like
violence.
Yeah, kind of like how when you play the games, even if you're playing the story mode, you're not playing for necessarily the story. You're playing for the fights in between the story because it's fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of my mentality with that. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it could have just been a one-off. I don't know if this movie needed a sequel, but I guess with the tournament, like, yeah, it makes sense to have another one. But I hope they don't do a third. I don't think this needs to be a trilogy. Because I think having 3 might be overdoing it.
They said that they want to do spin-offs, which I think is why you could definitely do a spin-off.
Yeah, I think you could do like a spin-off following certain characters potentially. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to that. That should be a fun movie.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
I'm actually going to skip the next point. We'll come back to that. Since we're still talking about movies.
Yep.
So, TRON 3 has begun filming. Wait, this is a sequel to TRON Legacy. Wasn't that movie viewed like terribly? Am I wrong?
Do you know what? Right, I always say this. I would always argue that TRON Legacy, like, while the plot wasn't amazing, I think the cinematography was immaculate.
Okay, that's fair.
like considering this was like done by this was like Joseph Kosinski who done him. He's obviously I think this was actually Joseph Kosinski's first movie. It was either that or it might have been Oblivion with Tom Cruise. I'm just gonna double check. Give me 1 second.
Sounds good.
Like, but like I'll always say that like the direction and cinematography of that movie was incredible. And the soundtrack as well. The fact that they got like two pop producers, Daft Punk, and they just like they was like, hey, look, make a soundtrack. Daft Punk. Yes, this was it. So this was Joseph Kosinski's first film, and like Daft Punk. Oh my god, the soundtrack that they made for this film, like should have got Oscars for it.
Yeah.
It generally, like, they done something that was so different. They perfectly combined like electronic with like they're like that because they have a very particular sound style to their electronic music. It's very like, you know, a little bit chip tune and like a little bit more of like distorted.
Yeah.
But it's so good. And so how they were able to put in like their touch in with the orchestra, just how they never got awards was just beyond me. And I think Tron Legacy, if I recall correctly, was considered for an award, but it was removed because of how much CGI it used at the time.
Oh wow! See now in the modern, now that's just casual, using basically all AI or not AI, CGI.
I guarantee you, right? I would bet you like that if Tron Legacy was released today, it would sweep the Oscars. I would say
I don't know about that. That's a fucking strong statement. Oh, that movie was.
Like it would definitely get it for best like art, like
you could see best like art direction or whatever. Yeah, I could see that potentially, but even that's questionable. I don't know. I think you could make an argument for best soundtrack. I think that's where you have the best argument.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But looking at this movie and its cast, or at least what we know of it, like the director and the lead role with Jared Leto. I'm gonna be real. Every movie Jared Leto's been in, he has not, like, those movies generally have turned out bad. Also, after 14 years, you're making a sequel to Tron. Feels like a little bit too long.
No, I agree.
For the record, I was 4 when Tron Legacy came out. I'm 18 now. I'm in college, bro.
I was 8. I feel old. I'm 22 next month.
Damn.
Do you know how old that makes me feel? No, actually, I think it was. So that was 2010. If it came out in 2010, I was 2002. Yeah, so I was 8. Okay.
Oh, that's right. I was 5 then. I was 5.
Like,
I forgot that we're in 2024 and not 2023.
Like nearly 14 years since the original film. Like that makes me feel.
No, I'm
does
still
not
4.
make me feel.
I'm still 4. Yeah, no, I'm still 4. It came out as 14. Yeah, I'm still 4.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Still young in the head, you know.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it is. And it deserved a sequel. You know, Disney was still milking it with Light Cycle Run and like the TV series that they've done, the animated series on Disney XD, which was, I think it was called Uprising.
Probably.
Like they was for a movie that never got a sequel to the second film. They were still milking that franchise.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't know if Tron 3, like, first off, I don't know how many people are gonna watch it. I don't know if there's an interest in Tron anymore. And then I don't know about the fucking actor that they chose. I don't trust Jared Leto in anything.
But they've got a few other great ones as
well.
Fair.
That's fair. I'm just a hater.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, like, look, there are movies that Jared Leto has been in that actually weren't that bad. Like he has had, I will always say he has had a couple of good roles. Like so, I believe Harry Goldfarb in Requiem for a Dream, right? He was great in that film. And then trying to think of his name, but when he done Blade Runner 2049, also great in the film.
I forgot that he was in that.
Yeah, like I think obviously I just think that sometimes he's an actor that's not so much like methodical, but like he's more or less like you have to give him the instructions, right? You go like, this is your character, this is what you do, this is this, right?
Yeah, don't let him improvise.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like there are some actors that benefit from improvising, such as Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer and ones like that. But there are some that I just think improvising is a very 50-50, and Jared Leto is one of them the actors. You know, no disrespect to his career.
I just think that his career, it's fine. I'll be the guy that hates him.
Bro, come on. We're podcasters here, not haters. Come on, it's all love. But no, like like Jared Leto, I always say had some good roles. Like, and another one, well, I wasn't as big. When he was Joker in the Snyder Cut for Justice League, he was all right. For the few minutes he had, I would argue he'd done his job. Obviously, he wasn't as great in David Ayer's. Well, I'm not even gonna say it's David Ayer's because, I mean, this I'm just gonna say it's Warner Bros. Studios Suicide Squad because David Ayer basically lost all input in that film.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even his film in the end. So that's why I can't even say David Ayer's Suicide Squad because it wasn't his film in the end.
That's fair.
And so obviously he was basically just a gangster in that film. He wasn't really Joker. He was just a gangster with green hair and metal teeth, which ironically is a majority of UK grime rappers nowadays.
Throwing some shade.
Look, right. I'll always be a UK grime hater.
That's fair.
I'm just gonna say, but yeah. So I think when you give him the direction and the clear instructions, I think he has the potential to pull off, a still decent amount.
We can't forget his best role. Morbius.
Oh, Morbius. Yeah. truly the role of all time.
The pinnacle of any career in Hollywood. But oh my gosh. Yeah, making more billions.
Did you see they had a Discord server and they done like a watch along?
Are you serious?
Yeah,
with Jared Leto or like
Yeah, he was on the server.
Okay, that's actually kind of okay. You know what? Admittedly, that's kind of fun. I like how they embraced the meme of it. I will say that.
Oh, they needed to. I think that was one of them films where embracing the meme. I think you needed to do.
Yeah,
I think
it is.
Nah. Like, he done it as well. Like he done a joke with like the script saying it's Morbius 2, it's Morbin time.
Yeah, I remember that. And then I remember people being like, "Man, now this joke's dead." I remember Twitter being like, "All right, they killed it." And then like, dude, I know this is years ago that we're talking about, but I remember when people basically memed it enough for them to put it back in theaters, which caused them to lose more money.
They made like 10K, didn't they?
It was terrible because like no one went back to watch it. It was just a meme. It was fucking great.
It was great.
But what's it called?
I felt emotion seeing Matt Smith doing push-ups.
Oh yeah, how sucks. Fucking goat. Truly the best movie of our times. Some would call it a classic. But yeah, so God, fucking dude, that movie's so bad. So that leads me into our second and final thing, which is also going to lead us into the final thing. Until Dawn is apparently is expected to be getting a film adaptation and potentially even a remaster. I imagine honestly that remaster is probably going to drop around the time if they with the movie if that goes smoothly. I think it's going to drop alongside.
Yeah, that's what I think they're going to do to coincide with the release.
But Until Dawn, pretty good game. Set the precedent for like choice-based storytelling. In a way that like isn't like how Telltale does it, where it's like kind of shit. This is actually like, oh, your actions actually have impact.
It was one of them few like games that nailed the idea of the butterfly effect for a horror.
Yeah, which, as much as that gets memed, the whole butterfly effect meme, which is fucking great still. With that one guy being like, the butterfly effect. Every time. It's become a fucking amazing joke in the community. But like, it is actually a pretty interesting game concept to be like, most, not every, but most choices that you make directly impact whether your character lives or dies. Now, like, some are gonna... Actually, I should have a strong statement about this film adaptation, though.
Okay.
Why make it a film adaptation? The game is a playable movie. The nice thing is, you make the choices in that movie.
Yeah. That the audience can't. It's not going to be like Netflix's like Black Mirror Bandersnatch, where the audience just sit there watching the film with a remote in their hand, being like, "Do this, do that, do that." There's not really doing like again, no disrespect to David S. Sandberg, but I think it's one of them games you can't do as a film because the game is carried by the idea of audience participation and great narratives. Mechanically, there's not much to do in Until Dawn, but the storytelling is what really like nails it, and
Yeah.
the star-studded cast.
Yeah.
Like mechanically, it's a very basic game, but
Yeah.
it's good because it's one of the games that makes you think about what you're doing.
Yeah,
Like,
it
if I kill
does.
this character off, am I gonna feel bad, or am I gonna feel like this was a good decision? Like the whole film, like the whole game tests the user's morality, basically.
It's just a prank, Han. Fucking
Oh,
kill,
they better do
kill,
it.
kill, kill, kill.
They got to do it in the film. They got to have that line.
Oh my god, 100%. But like, I don't like that as a film adaptation. I really don't. I think what they should do is just remaster it. I think the best part about that game is the fact that you make the choices. So then stripping away that for a film is like that's dumb. And then if you like, I don't think that's gonna work in my opinion. Although I am really excited for the remaster because Until Dawn looks pretty decent on PS4, but like you can tell,
you can tell the engine is
it's old and outdated. Like you look at the Quarry, that game looks beautiful. Until Dawn, you can tell especially with like the faces and all that, and like the character models, they're like kind of dopey looking. Which
like compared to newer models. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm looking forward to that remaster. I will watch the film adaptation because I'm a shill for Sony and movies in general, but I'm not going into it with high expectations. Maybe it blows me away. My expectations aren't that high.
Honestly, I have if they were to adapt it right, I would say you'd need to make it like a TV series. But like so a while ago, Netflix done a series called, I think it was called Kaleidoscope.
Yeah,
right. And there was no set order to watching the series.
Yeah.
Right. Is it like you could do it anyway, and the story would always feel different. I think that's how they should have done it for Until Dawn, is make it like whether it be like HBO series or like a Netflix series. Just do these different episodes, say absolutely no order in which a series goes in, and then I feel like that's how you could have done it.
I get that. I don't know how well that would work with like the it doesn't like your what's it called? One second.
Or even just do it like how Bandersnatch was done,
But yeah, so yeah, I think that's fair. I think you're right though with like the whole, they should make it, I think even on Netflix shows, like some of them are like interactive. I know they made like the Minecraft story mode like a Netflix thing where you could interact with it. I think that's, if you're gonna go with a film, you need to make it interactive. You need to keep that element from the game. But yeah, if they don't, I have no expectations for this movie. I think it's going to be a kind of generic horror movie because the plot is kind of a generally generic horror movie. The nice thing is you play it.
I mean, we already had Until Dawn movie, Ashton Kutcher's Butterfly Effect.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna watch it whenever that comes out. I'm expecting probably like 25, 26 is generally the expectation for that. So who knows? Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it ends up being decent.
I'd be willing to be proven wrong, but I do have some concerns about the film. Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. That's where I'm at. And that kind of feeds into our final thing. Obviously, Sony, being the upcoming State of Play lineup. So yes, I'm excited. I always love watching Sony State of Plays. They're really good. And a lot of those games, like they put out really good games. A lot of good like devs work with Sony and all that shit. So I'm also really excited for this. So yeah, I mean, while some titles, so there hasn't been anything that's guaranteed to be announced there, but there's a few expected titles, which are Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater, Silent Hill 2, a remake, Final Fantasy 7, and Helldivers 2. I know you're excited about Silent Hill 2. I'm gonna let you talk about that one because that shit is gonna be awesome.
Oh, it is. It is absolutely. I mean, I am nervous about it. I will be honest.
Okay.
I do have concerns. But at the same time, I think as long as Bloober Team, executes it like from like word to word and like one to one,
Yeah.
and they basically they update the mechanics, because I'll always be critical of Silent Hill 2's combat mechanics because they're pretty subpar compared to like 1, 3, 4, and like an above. Because a lot of it, people meme on it a lot, but Silent Hill, at least the first 3 games have always been more very like heavily environmentally focused on like as in terms of like environmental storytelling and visual storytelling and narrative. It's not been so much about the gameplay. It's again, like it's basically a walking simulator, but it's just how well they tell the story in those games. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But I'm nervous because I don't know if you've been watching online, but they done something called Silent Hill Ascension.
I saw your video on it.
Yeah, and obviously they done that, and we got a couple of good memes out of it. We got a couple of good jokes, such as just the giant sticker saying it's trauma in rainbows and like sparkles, which that's actually that's what it looks like.
Great. I need that like on my computer. Just slap it on.
Yeah, probably be too. I have it on my like fridge sticker, but like I'm critical of it because like, so long story short, they advertised it as something that was very audience participation focused, but then when you went onto it, the amount of like microtransactions, you would think this was something like, I don't know, Activision would have made. Like the amount, so like you go into it, right? So this was this was like a web series with a battle pass.
Oh, okay.
So
that's
like
absurd.
A season pass.
That's fucking stupid.
For a web. Yeah, and not only that, but it was basically, although the devs don't really want to say it, they don't want to admit it. There was an amount of, it was whoever had the most money. So like for all we know, someone like XQC could come in, spend like 1 million on the points, and he would decide the narrative.
That was it. Fucking stacks.
But it was the little mini games they had, which was just made it all the more hilarious, because you had ones where you tap the notes on the screen, but you had Silent Hill fishing.
What? What the fuck?
So you just sit there fishing at the Silent Hill lake.
Oh my god, that's so fucking stupid. Holy shit.
And you would just get 100 points for it. So you had like Silent Hill Candy Crush, Silent Hill Fishing, and like do you remember like the small apps like the guitar and Magic Piano?
Yeah, yeah.
It was that, but you played it to the songs of like the Silent Hill soundtrack.
Oh my god, this sounds like the worst thing ever.
It would. And I was like, so hold on a minute here, right? You've had 10 years since your original. Well, I will say 10 years, because obviously the last really kind of full-blown Silent Hill title was PT.
Yeah.
It was good. Like the last AAA Silent Hill product was PT. Now, obviously, we know the drama that happened. Yeah, I'm like, to this day, I still wonder what that product would have looked like had it been like released, because I think it could have been great. Hideo Kojima's like, I mean, he's one of the greatest gaming directors ever really. With what he's been able to do for the games industry, should always be noted. And like when I saw that like they had freaking Guillermo del Toro, for God's sake, like I was like, this could be absolute class.
This could be crazy. Yeah,
this could like go crazy. And then they were like, oh, yeah, we cancelled it. I just sat there like, you potentially just cancelled like a game that could have revived, because they said like the writers on like PT and Silent Hills before it was cancelled, they said that this was going to actually reboot the franchise.
Oh shit!
So like it was going to be a game that like rebooted it from the ground up. And I thought, what a sick way to reboot it. You bring in two incredible directors. You bring in Norman freaking Reedus and Junji Ito, like one of the greatest Japanese horror manga artists. And then as a company, you say, no, let's make slot machines and mobile games.
Yeah, that would piss me the fuck off. Oh my god, I'd be so upset.
And like just the way they handled Kojima as well. Like they banned him from picking up his award for Metal Gear Solid for Game of the Year.
I remember that. Like, and that's like fucking what?
Like, they done that, and then they scrubbed his name off of like everything Metal Gear, and I just thought to myself, why? Why would
Yeah.
you go scorched earth on a guy that's like it sounds silly, but that's like Valve removing Gabe Newell from their history,
Yeah.
you know? Like Gabe Newell, like he's someone that, has always like helped with the direction of games and like helped them get produced. And if you wipe his name out, it's like, oh, like why? And so like you'd think 10 years on, you come in swinging, but instead no, you make a heavily microtransactioned Bandersnatch.
Yeah, that just
Um,
seems fucking terrible. I would be so
it was
upset.
it was awful, but just what makes it so much more funnier, right? And this is what like I actually just burst out laughing is not only is it just the voice acting, which is like again no disrespect to voice actors because I know this probably isn't their fault. It's just the direction they were given. Like,
Yeah.
I always say that there's a time that it's not the voice actor's problem when their performance might have a fault. A lot of times it is down to direction. I'll say that all the time, right? It's that, but not only that, but the character. So I do Unreal Engine, right? I do Unreal Engine 5,
Yeah.
and they have this
You're
thing
working
called
on like a fan
MetaHuman.
project. Yeah.
Yeah, and like they have this thing called MetaHuman, and it's a creation engine. It's what Kojima's using for Project Overdose for like Utara, right? But it's a fantastic engine, like part of the engine, like the detail to it. But what made me laugh so much about this is all the characters in Silent Hill Ascension are literally just pre-made models for MetaHuman.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Oh my
like
god.
so legit. Look up if you look it up right now, right? You look up the characters Ascension, and then you look up the list of characters in the MetaHuman engine. It is the same.
Okay, I'm
I'm
actually
not
doing that
even
right now. What the
joking.
fuck?
It's actually it's the same. And but like and the microtransactions for that is just what makes it more funnier because you can buy so for example in the season pass you get new hair for your character, a sticker and a shirt, which bearing in mind the shirts, most of them again are pre-made metahuman assets that they just alter the colors of.
That's fucking wild.
So it's like it was like so is Konami, you're bringing back a franchise that's been dead for like 10 years and you're coming swinging with that.
Wow, you were not kidding.
Exactly. They're the exact same.
Oh my god.
That's the characters that we're expected to pay $10 for the season pass for.
That is. Oh my god, that's so fucking stupid. Oh my god. I. Jesus, dude.
And so I thought there is no way in heaven or hell they're gonna do Silent Hill 2 and
Here it is.
charge transactions for that.
Yeah. Here it
Like
is.
imagine that.
Uh,
Imagine that.
and then what
They
is
just do like oh yeah pay but people were memeing on it so bad 'cause it was so funny. So in Ascension there was this thing called like the point system was called influence points, right?
Yeah.
And someone done this Silent Hill 2 joke and it was Mary's letter, so being like in my rest of streams I'll see that town's Silent Hill and then it goes you have to spend 500 influence points to read the rest of this letter.
Oh my god.
Like
That's fucking
like
stupid.
to put it simply, they got memed on hard
Yeah, I'd
for
be
it and now
pissed.
they block anyone who criticizes their thing. They block it. So if you do like one meme about their thing, the devs, like the Ascension devs, block you on Twitter.
I know what I'm doing. But yeah,
We
so that's
we should do a
fucking
watch
wild.
along someone. We should watch an episode together.
Yeah, definitely. And then
And that's what they started with.
so a few more games. I mentioned these already, but a few more games were
Mhm.
also announced. Final Fantasy VII,
Mhm.
and then Helldivers 2. So
Mhm.
I actually wasn't familiar with what Helldivers was, but I did a little bit of research, and apparently it was a top-down shooter game developed by Arrowhead, which I want to say is an indie dev.
Mhm.
And from what I'm seeing, it seems
They
pretty
changed it to like a
cool.
third person team shooter in the second one, I believe,
Oh,
haven't
is
they?
it now?
Yeah, so they went from top down shooter and then they've changed it to like this third person shoot 'em up.
See, I'm
Which
not
I
sure
think
if I.
great.
I think that's cool, but like, same time,
Mm.
the top-down one is like the top-down aspect of the thing is really unique.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So I think I am gonna miss that a little bit. Because
But
like
I
I
still
think
be
there's
willing
a
to
bunch
try
of
it.
third person shooters. It kind of like the angle of the camera reminds me a lot of like Battlefront and all that.
Yeah, no,
Um,
absolutely.
and I think that is a little bit less unique than the top down, but at the same time, I get it. It's probably a better player experience, most likely.
I feel
Um,
like it's maybe like an effort to get like to a bit more like on the immersion side of things, maybe like to
yeah, I could
maybe
see that. So
make you feel it more.
yeah, and it also lets you see like the monsters and all that shit that they're
Yeah,
fighting
exactly
better.
that, which is what I think they're doing. Like, is to maybe kind of. But I mean, honestly, when it comes to like the state of play lineup, I'm obviously excited to know Silent Hill 2 because obviously they've got the Akira Yamaoka back to compose and Masahiro Ito to do the monsters again, which is great. Those were what I'd argue one of the core parts of the game. But I'm actually excited for Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater.
Yeah, I think that
I'm
should
going
be
to
good.
say it. It looks great. Like for something that's made in-house, which is what they've said that this is an in-house game. So this is Konami, like they've got a team together themselves to make this,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Obviously, this is the second Metal Gear Solid project without Hideo Kojima, and obviously this was one that he was very much obviously he directed. So I don't know how they're gonna address that. Maybe they'll be like like with Dead Space, it was with thanks to this original team. Maybe it might be like something along the lines of with thanks to the original Metal Gear creators or
Oh
with thanks to
yeah.
Kojima.
Thanks to Kojima for the idea or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah. Or
yeah, like
original plot. Yeah.
at the same time, I think that as long again, it's like the same thing with Silent Hill 2 remake. As long as they go bar for bar to this, and it seems like they are because they're reusing the original voice acting from David Hayter, and it's like and they keep the same soundtrack. It honestly should be okay.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm
I'm not,
just looking forward to all these. I'm not gonna lie. PlayStation state of like the state of play is always just so good. I feel like they always bring it. There's very few where I've been like, oh, that's a disappointment. So I don't know. I'm excited to see what they bring.
oh side just this is just a bit breaking news here um quickly on a Marvel topic. um Apparently, according to some sources online, John David Washington is being considered for the role of Kang for
Oh
Jonathan
wow.
Major's
Okay.
replacement. That's
Oh,
a great
all
choice, isn't
right.
it? With that, that's a great choice. I think John David Washington could absolutely nail it.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
That's a good
Um.
replacement.
Yeah, I think
Someone
that's
said
pretty good.
someone changed it with Will Smith.
That's awesome.
That's good.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be pretty good. Actually, I like that casting a lot. Also, this was also mentioned today. I don't know if you read this. It was let me see who originally reported this. It was from
Okay.
inverse.com. The disgusting film page retweeted it or like posted about it.
A second.
Apparently, and this is like not necessarily a positive thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, when Daisy Ridley was offered the role of Rey by J.J. Abrams, apparently J.J. Abrams said, understand the scale. This is not a role in a movie. This is a religion for people. It changes things on a level that is inconceivable, end quote. And it goes on to say Ridley's anxiety was so severe by the time The Last Jedi released that she had developed holes in her stomach wall. Which is basically like,
Oh
her
my
stomach starts
god.
eating itself because of that. JJ, buddy, what the fuck?
That's not how you introduce a character at all.
Yeah.
The poor
What the
Daisy,
fuck?
honestly. You don't say, well, it's not a film, it's a religion. That's
That's so much
no.
stress.
That's no, you don't do that. You just say that this is going to be a character that a lot of people will look up to, and then that's a lot safer to do.
Yeah.
Say, like, not say, oh, this is a religion. That's ooh.
Yeah. So, what the fuck, JJ? That's not a great quote.
That's
That's bad.
that's that's terrible.
But yeah, so I'm honestly excited for her because doesn't she have if I'm not mistaken, she has another like Star Wars project coming up with her as Rey if I'm not mistaken, right? Am I mistaken
Yeah,
about that?
I think it's I don't know but I know that apparently it's planned to be a mainline Star Wars project, right? Now
Yeah.
look, I'll be honest with you, right, and I'll be real, right? Is that Star Wars is one of them franchises that's a very hit or miss. I will always
Oh,
criticize the Disney
100%.
sequels. right? I will always criticize the Disney sequels because it suffers the same thing Marvel suffers with, and that is that characters that nobody gives a damn about
Yeah,
most
way
of
too
the
much
time.
time and all that shit. Yeah.
Like it could be one of them characters that's like for Marvel, right? A majority of nowadays, if you look at some of the new, like most characters, they could be killed off and life would go on,
Yeah, no
right?
one would really care.
And like obviously that hurts as a Marvel fan for me to say, but that's what it is. And Star Wars is one of them things like with like I'll say this, so like the lady who played Reva in Obi-Wan Kenobi series, right? She
Yeah.
was Darth Vader, trying to be Darth Vader's apprentice, right? I just didn't I didn't find her I thought her
Unnecessary
performance was
character.
solid.
Yeah.
Not even that, but just like I think as a character, it just the writing wasn't there.
Oh, fair enough.
I just found it like I thought her, for what she was given, right? She tried her best. You could see on screen she tried her best for what she was given, but it was just like it was like one of them characters that I felt it was like, oh hey, this new character, and then leave it there.
Yeah, that's fair.
She was like she was very in and out, and that's like again that's kind of like what I feel about the newer Marvel films is, the newer characters that they had they're just there. They're
Yeah.
like they're kind of they're kind of they almost feel like a background actor in which they kind of walk past and then they just don't really do much
They'll
with them.
say a line and then
Yeah, they'll say a line and then it's
yeah.
like, but like I always say that I could see that we're like, and the hate she got online was absolutely unwarranted for.
Oh, Ridley,
I
yeah.
thought, Ridley and the lady who played Raver as well.
Oh yeah,
like,
I remember that too, dude.
Like she got so much like backlash, and I thought no, because it's not her fault, And even if it was her fault, it still unwarrants the criticism she got and like some of the hateful messages she got. I think for anyone, you don't deserve. No one really deserves that nowadays. Like for example, Wyatt Russell, right? He was John. He obviously was the U.S. agent in Captain America.
He was good as that too. He was a really good. Yeah.
He was so good, right? But he got so much hate and death threats for what he did with the character, for like what his character did. So like stabbing the guy.
Yeah,
with the
which is
shield,
like
right?
people do understand that's fictional, right?
Yeah, it's fictional, right? And so I'm like, So I was very much against the hate, but like they all got. I think criticism should always be allowed, right?
Yeah.
But only if it's constructive. Only if you're trying to say it to benefit the person, to help them build their confidence.
Yeah,
to really
don't just be a hater, bro. And definitely don't do death threats. Oh my god.
Yeah,
especially over a fucking character. Are you serious?
It was awful. Like it was awful. I felt so awful for all of them when that happened. And like for when it happened to Wyatt Russell, he actually deleted his Twitter. He deleted all his social media from it. Like it seems to be that there's a lot. I understand that fans are passionate, right? I get it. It's cool to be passionate about a project, but when you're that side of passionate, I don't think you should be considered a fan.
Yeah, there's a line that it crosses.
Yeah, there's a line always to be crossed, and it just seems to be a thing nowadays where like so many actors are getting hate for things that aren't even their fault. Brie Larson with Captain Marvel, I need to see the lady's name if I get it right, but the lady who done Ada Wong in RE4's Resident Evil 4's remake, right?
Yeah,
she got so much like awful comments for things that were out of control. Like people like saying it was comments, and it always but like the more vocal criticism on there, like the ones that weren't being negative, that weren't being horrible, were just that her microphone quality was sounding a little bit bad, right?
Yeah.
But like so here, so this is the actress is and I again I hope I say this right, but Lily Gao, right? And so she actually played Ada Wong in the new Resident Evil movie Welcome to Raccoon City. Right?
Oh yeah, was that a movie or show? I thought it was a show.
So it was a movie, but the show was the one that they done with Lance Reddick.
That's what I was thinking of. Okay.
Yeah, Lance Reddick wasn't bad, but god damn, that series was atrocious.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I was thinking of.
But like so obviously she played Ada Wong in Welcome to Raccoon City, which was the newer like live action Resident Evil film.
Yeah.
Right. And so from what I can understand, I believe Capcom hired her to do Ada Wong because obviously Ada Wong's obviously she was in the American voices, she was being played by someone who wasn't of Ada Wong's descent, and so Ada Wong's ethnicity, right?
Yeah.
Like her previous voice actors weren't that, and so they got Lady Gal, which I thought, okay, you know, I think
sense.
that's
Yeah.
really cool. That's really cool, you know, to have the chance to play it again, and especially when, like, you know, you got like constructive criticism online regarding how you done Ada Wong in the live action film. I think it's good because it gives you a chance to try again.
Yeah.
And honestly, I thought she was freaking great from what I could see in RE4's remake. Like, generally, she felt a lot more Ada Wong than what Ada Wong did in the post-credit scene of Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City.
Okay.
Like, I think she killed her, like, she absolutely killed it with the way she done her lines.
And then she got hate for it, which is absurd.
yeah, she got hate for it. But, like, I could understand the nicer criticism and that being like the microphone quality, which I think, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
You know, you got microphone quality. But again, from what I can understand, she didn't record that at like any studios. I think she done it herself.
At home, yeah.
And so that's something you're not going to know. You know, to a lot of like everyday people, a microphone's a microphone. You know, it's like, I don't think a lot of people take into consideration when trying voice acting about the quality of it nowadays.
Yeah,
you know?
I only have a really nice mic because I record YouTube videos.
Yeah, and you know,
podcasts where my voice is important.
Exactly that. And so, like, you know, it was definitely unwarranted. And I think, like, you could see that all of them, despite the criticisms, just tried their best. You know, they're still human beings at the end of the day.
Yeah. Need to
They're
treat them like it, yeah.
Make a living. Yeah, just treat them like it, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
And that's, like, that was the problem I really did have with all this, is that, like, just, you could criticize a character, but don't go ahead and start doing death threats and basically going straight out harassing and bullying to the people.
Yeah,
you know,
there's definitely a line, and that is easily crossing it. Yeah. Criticism's fine. Being like, oh, I didn't like that because of X, Y, and Z, and they're valid reasons, that's fine. But being like, you should kill yourself, you should die. I'm like, Jesus, bro.
Yeah.
That's a little bit. That's way too far. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's just absolute shit. But yeah, unless there's anything else we want to discuss, I think that will do it for the very first ever episode of the Two Nerds One Cast podcast.
Yeah,
that was awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Was great.
As always, if you guys did enjoy, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And then also, if you're watching this on any other platforms, because I am bringing this onto like Spotify and all that shit, just follow it or sub or whatever the fuck you do on like Spotify. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching or listening, and yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next one. And peace out, everybody. Bye.
Have a great day, everyone.